positions of adverbs. And we see that adverbs can be at the beginning of a sentence, it can be in the middle of a sentence, and it can also be at the end of a sentence. Let us look at it. So, in the first place, the beginning. The rule says that if you begin a sentence with an adverb, you have to bring a comma. With an adverb phrase, you have to bring a comma. So solemnly, comma, the priest addressed the congregation. So we say that it can be at the beginning of the sentence. They also said that it can also be in the middle of the sentence. So we say that the priests solemnly addressed the congregation. We realize that the first sentence we had a solemnly at the beginning, and this time we have a solemnly at the middle of the sentence. It is not at the same place as the first one. And then the last one, we say that the priests addressed the congregation. Address the congregation solemnly. So we have it at the end. So these are the three positions of the adverb. It is only the adverb that will move from one point to the other, and everywhere that it appears, it is said to be an adverb. Its name cannot be changed because of its position. It remains an adverb. So we move on to the various forms of adverb. The various forms of adverb, and you come to think of adverb of time or adverbs of manner. We say that they are usually placed after the verb, and it answers the question how. For example, the couple danced beautifully. He walks briskly. The baby crawled slowly. The chief walked majestically. In all the cases, it tells us how that thing is done. And so we realize that the adverb is being used to modify the verb. The adverb is being used to modify the verb, and we have a lot of them. Then we have adverb of place, which answers the question where. And so we need to look at them. We have adverbs of time, and so on, which answers the question when. So in adverb of place, she went home. She is here. She prepared the food at home. She is there. And so on and so forth are all adverbs of place. Then adverbs of time, we have recently, immediately, late, 10 o'clock, 5 p.m., and so on and so forth, which answers the question when, giving us the time. Then adverbs of frequency, which talks of how something happens or how often something happens. So she does not normally eat breakfast. So meaning, you say she does not normally eat breakfast. Normally here is telling us the rate at which the person eats what? Breakfast. So we have to take note of that. The man is always in time for lunch. They always here tells us how often the man comes in for lunch. So let us look at it carefully. You have your verb here. Manner. Place. Frequency. Time. And purpose. This is how you're going to arrange your adverbs. That means when you get more than one adverb in a sentence, this is how it's going to go after the verb. What follows is the manner. So for instance, if you have a verb like swims, then you move on to enthusiastically. Then the place in the pool. Frequency. Every morning. Before dawn. To keep in shape. So you realize that you say Kofi swims enthusiastically in the pool every morning before dawn to keep in shape. So right after the verb, within the predicate part, what must come first? If you have more than one adverb, then it must go or it must follow in this order: manner, place, frequency, time, and purpose. Manner, place, frequency, time, and purpose. If you don't order it this way, you get your answer wrong. Don't order it this way, you get your answer wrong. So always you should, I repeat, you should try and order it so that it will be in terms with what we do. So it must follow this way: manner, place, frequency, time, arrangements that you have to make when you are dealing with adverbs. So we end our discussions on adverbs. We are now moving on to prepositions. Move on to prepositions. And when we talk of prepositions, we are talking of a word placed before a noun or a pronoun to show its relation to other words in the sentence. So, for example, I talked to Kofi. I talked to I spoke to Amma. We also have another example like we are fond of music. We are fond of music. So of to are all prepositions. Or she has good command of English. These are all prepositions. So we need to take note of to, in, etc. They are all things. Deal with prepositions. We have different shades of them. We have simple prepositions. Simple. We have double. We have compound. Participial. And we also have phrase prepositions. We're going to look at them one after the other. So, what are some of the list of prepositions? We have above, along. We have across, after, against, off, past, towards, along, among, at, before, behind, on, round, under, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, opposite, since, unless, by, concerning, despite, down, except, out, through, until, for, from, in, inside, into, outside, till, onto, like, near, next, to, of, over, to, with. All these are prepositions. And we can write them all here on this small board. That was why I read everything to you. That gives us a list of prepositions. And so we can tell of more. And so we have simple prepositions. Simple prepositions are prepositions which are not formed by any method and common to a language and are known as simple prepositions. Example: at, by, for, from, in, of, out, on, with, through, till, up, down, to, after, over, under, but, round, past, since, there, per, and done. Examples are She is at the bus stop. 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 Joyce is killed by her husband. Mary is praised for her beauty. I received a letter from my sister. He fell off the bus. Charles talked on pollution. I did not know what friendship is till I met Jones. These are all simple prepositions. We also have what we call double prepositions. Double prepositions. They are prepositions which contain two words, and they are known as double prepositions. Example: out of, from behind or behind, from among, from under, from within, according to, near to, next to, nearest to, opposite to, close to, inclusive of, exclusive of, instead of, in spite of, due to, owing to, as regards. These are called double prepositions. In some books you see complex prepositions. Example: I recognize George from among her friends. Among his friends, rather, sorry. The moon shone from behind the clouds. She took the book from under the pillow. According to Keats, a thing of beauty is joy forever. A word is used instead of a noun. A word used instead of noun is called a pronoun. The match was cancelled due to heavy rain. George lives next to us. Then she came out of the house. I went close to the school. In spite of her beauty, she remained unmarried. All these are some of and the underlying words are from behind, from under, a thing of, instead of, due to, next to, out of, close to, in spite of, all prepositions. Close to, next to, in spite of. Dealing with, still dealing with prepositions. We also have compound prepositions, and they are formed by prefixing. For example, about, across, beyond, beneath, besides, around, within, towards, despite, above, beside, without, against, until, along, between, abroad, upon, alongside, opposite, throughout, amid, inside, outside, morning, among. So they form that. So examples are: do you know about Victoria? The sky is above us. He ran across the road. They walked along the seashore. They quarreled among themselves, etc. They all form the compound prepositions. Then the participial prepositions, and they are used as prepositions. Such prepositions are in the present participles, concerning, considering, during, notwithstanding, according to, accepting, following, pending, regarding, respecting, touching, owing, barring, including, are all participial prepositions. Then we can also talk of the phrase prepositions. And they are a group of words which are according to, away from, by dint of, by reason of, by way of, in accordance with, on behalf of, in comparison to, in consequence of, in favor of, in lieu of, in place of, instead of, under the pretense of, in common with, in conformity with, for the sake of, in addition to, in compliance to, in cause of, in order to, in reference to, in spite of, in the event of, owing to. All these are prepositional phrases. Prepositional phrases. And so what we need to understand is that we have different shades of prepositions. There are a lot of them. Now, what is the position of the preposition? Position of the prepositions. We say that a preposition is always placed at the end of the sentence when the object is relative pronoun that. Example, it is the bus that I'm waiting for. This is the novel that I have been talking about. This is the hotel that I stayed in. 2. The preposition must be placed at the end when the object is an interrogative pronoun. What are you thinking about? Who are you waiting for? What are you so serious about? 3. The preposition must be placed at the end when the relative pronoun is understood. I want to know the person you borrow the book from. Do you know the things she is interested in? Let me know the problem you are always worried about. These are how we can use the preposition. Now the last topic that we will treat is objects of the preposition. Object of the preposition. A bridge was built over the river. These are prepositional phrase. And the object here, the bridge, is objects of the preposition over. Is object of the preposition over. If you say Joyce is angry with me, me is object of the preposition with. And so this is a prepositional phrase. Then the last example. I am fond of writing books. Fond of, that's writing books is object of the preposition fond of. And so you need to take your time to look at it carefully. So river is object, me is object, writing books is object. And that because they are not suffering directly from the verb, you see they are objects of the preposition. And so, some of the uses, various conceptions expressed by preposition. Place. John swam across the river Niger. He slept among the trees in the forest. If you are talking of the place, because it's more than one tree. The time, I received a letter by post at 6 p.m. You must return before evening. Manner. I earn money by teaching. We speak with our voice. Reason or purpose. Education is meant for character formation. He died of heart pain. Possession. Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. I love people with blue eyes. Direction. He walked into the theater. She ran towards the police station. And so on. So these are some of the things that we need to learn about the prepositions. So we end our lesson here. But don't forget our subjects project. Please, if you don't submit it by 15th of March, if you don't submit the subject project by 15th of March, you lose the marks. And I said 2-page paper, single spacing. No, to be fair with you, do it in double spacing, write in double spacing. A summary of any book you have read. A summary of any book you have read. Very, very important. Try and submit it by 15th of March. Thank you. You know where to send your questions to. Either the WhatsApp platform or the Telegram platform. I'll be waiting for you at that end. And you can ask your question at any point in time so that we discuss it. Thank you and hope to meet you next week.